Lewis. It's not showing us live yet.
What happened?
You'll never see another guy like me if you live to be 5,000. I'll always be me. I'll always be a one of a kind till the day I die.
The room is velvet, shadows thick and deep. Every secret here is mine to keep. I don't talk, I just nod, they obey. A whisper cuts sharper than a blade. Gold rings on the table, lives in the air. Who holds the power? The man in the chair. He who has the king's ear is king. It's not the crown, it's the voice that sings. Loyalty falls like cards in the wind. He who has the king's ear is king. Smoke curls like ghosts around the light. Deals get signed in the dead of night. I don't need a throne, don't need a name. My word alone sets the world aflame. The dice don't roll unless I say go. The tide don't turn unless I say so. The boss is the shadow, the voice in your fear. The crown don't matter, it's the king's ear. He who has the king's ear is king. It's not the crown, it's the voice that sings.
All right, we are live once again with Louis Kasman on American Made. I hope everyone is doing good. Louis, how are you, man?
Okay, good evening, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We've got about 75 people already joined. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
It was good. Yeah, I spent it with my mom. You know, she has that stuff going on, so I spent it with her, and it was nice. And I see you have that Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah, I got into the holiday spirit, man, with the Christmas tree.
Good.
Thought it would add a nice touch.
Good. You put a tree up in the house for the family?
Yeah, we've got the tree, we've got the decorations up, we've got everything in the Christmas spirit. So
good.
Let's jump over here to the comments and see who we've got. Francisco's here. He says, welcome. A friend of yours, Louis, Scott. He says, hey guys, looking forward to another great show.
Hey, Scott, what's up, man? Glad you're here.
The big man, welcome. Brian says, always a great show.
Yeah.
Edward says, hello, everyone.
What's up, Eddie?
Henry, he says, looking forward to a record-breaking show, boys. Me too.
Thank you.
Frankie says, hey, Louis.
What's up, Frankie?
Francisco says, welcome, guys. Hit the like button.
I see we have Tin Pail here.
Yeah, Frankie says, Jesse, what's up, man? Tin Pail TV in the house. We're glad to have you, man.
Glad you're here, Tim.
Jackie knows. He says, hey, Jesse.
Back from the dead.
Harry Valentini, Jesse, looking forward as always. Glad you're here, man. You always
up,
bring good
Harry?
questions.
Yeah, he does.
Frank the Fork says, let's set a new record tonight. I think every show we've done, is bigger than the last. So I think we're going in the right direction. See if we've got anybody else.
We got to get over 300.
Pinty Studios live.
93.
Welcome to the show, man.
What's up, Pinty?
Big Jim from Scranton. Hey, everyone. Sam Rothstein. Hey, Jesse. Glad to have you. Let's see if we've got anybody else. Harry says, Lewis, if you write a book, The King's Ear is a good name for that book.
Oh, thank you, Harry. I'll keep that in mind.
See if we've got any more. I think we've got about everyone, Lewis. I've got a few topics that I wrote down that I want to get into and go over with you. But first, before we get into that, I want to remind everyone, we've got about 100 people already. So I want to remind everyone to hit that like button on this video, subscribe to the channel. We've been doing really good. Like I said, each show is, we've got more viewers than the last. So we're going in the right direction. Let's see. Before we get going, Lewis, I wanted to bring up the shooting that happened in Washington, D.C. That's been in the news a lot here lately. 2 National Guardsmen were shot. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Have you been following this news?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. I think the one female guardsman passed away from her injuries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Send out our condolences to the family, and just a terrible thing. But what they did do in Washington, they just changed it up. They're not making them stand stationary in one location, Jess. So what President Trump has instructed Secretary Hexteth to do now is the local law enforcement are now traveling with the guardsmen so that they're all communicating, their walkie-talkies, all their devices are now tied in, which I'm sure they were before. But now there's going to be a metropolitan police officer or 2 with each of the guards people, so that when they're patrolling the area, that they're all together. So that should be a big improvement, and that should definitely help.
Yeah.
So So that's
and I saw where Trump was sending like 500 more troops, to the city, deploying, throughout the city. So that, along with what you're talking about, should have an impact.
It's amazing that city was really out of control.
Yeah.
Before Trump, got it under control. It
was. I mean, they showed the cleanup. It was crazy, man. People were just living in the street.
Crazy. That Mayor Browser, whatever her name is, she should leave, resign. She was doing nothing, absolutely doing nothing. And it's an embarrassment that all the embassies and everything that we have in D.C., I mean, these people were afraid to go out to dinner, afraid to go anywhere, afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
And so that's changed.
Yeah, it has. Something else that you and I have spoke about on the phone in our conversations is these ICE agents that are being deployed throughout the cities across the country. In New York, I saw on the news they were in New York. Even where I'm at locally, it's been in the local news. These ICE agents have been, going through the town, and there's been protests. People have been losing their minds, man. Have you seen any protests where you're at?
Well, in New York, there was a lot of protests, and the NYPD was caught off guard, and because ICE agents and all those folks came into New York, and I believe it was Lower Manhattan. And so they were really caught off guard, and the NYPD was really having a hard time with that. But from what I understand, the FBI and the director of the ICE people, they called up Jessica Tisch, the NYPD commissioner, apologized to her, and said that would never happen again. And so that was going on in New York City. But if Trump ever sends the federales into New York City, he'll deport thousands of illegals, in New York. So we'll wait to see what happens with that. Should be interesting.
Yeah. I just wanted to, get your take on that. That's something that's been in the news. I've been seeing a lot here lately. But I want to switch gears, man, and talk to you about something that, we've touched on before, but I wanted to talk to you about your incarceration. You started serving a sentence at Lewisburg Camp on July 14th, 1995. I got a couple questions I want to ask you about, but what was your conviction and how long was your sentence?
When I in the Eastern District of New York to perjury, and my sentence was 7 months incarceration, plus a $30,000 fine, plus 3 years of supervised release upon my release after my period of incarceration. And I was sentenced before my favorite judge, Judge Ileo. And subsequent to my sentencing and my plea, before I decided to plea, I filed a motion to recuse Judge Glasser. And I retained Yale law professor Jeffrey Hazard to represent me, costing me, he charged me $10K to file a motion before Judge Glasser to recuse him, because I felt Judge Glasser was going to be biased against me. And Judge Glasser stood up in court, indignant as he always was, and said, I will not be biased against Mr. Kasman. And if he chooses to go to trial, I'll give him a fair trial. So Mike Rosen said, the same trial that you gave John Gotti, his adopted father? Mike Rosen was my lawyer, Roy Cohn's former law clerk, law guy. And Judge Glasser responded indignantly, I'll give Mr. Kasman a fair trial, a fair and impartial trial. So I never went to trial. Judge Glasser denied my motion to recuse himself. And what happened was I pled, and he could have given me no time, Judge Glasser, but the mean bastard that he is and was back then, he gave me six or I believe it was 7 months in jail. And so that's what Ileo did. And I did my time. And when I was doing my time, I ran into Randy Pizzola. Does that name ring a bell, Jesse?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about him. I knew that you had ran into him and had some interactions with him. And I wrote that down that today is actually the anniversary of his death, November 30th, 2004. What was your interaction with him in Lewisburg?
Well, when I got to Lewisburg, because of John J. Gotti, the then boss of the Gambino organized crime family,
right?
The welcome mat was out for me by other inmates and the warden as well. And the only son of a bitch that was jealous was Randy Pizzola. And so I got there and everything was set there for me. I had my clothes, I had food, I had everything until I got commissary. And Anthony McGalley, a good friend of Tony McGalley, was there. Tony McGalley was a skipper at the time, captain of the Gambino family. loved John, loved me. And so he was looking out for me. Of course, Herbie Sperling was behind the wall, and he was looking out for me as well. And like I said, everybody was a perfect gentleman. Everybody didn't know what to do for me, except for Mr. Pizzola.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's how I started my time there. And Randy just wanted my attention, and I wouldn't give him the time of day. He was a lowlife, and everybody hated him there. The Italians hated him there. There was this guy from Buffalo that was there, this Italian bookmaker. He thought he was the Don. He was the Don of nobody, and I let him know that in no uncertain terms. So him and Randy, they were playing boss and underboss, and everybody hated Pizzola there. The Spanish kids, the most of the legitimate Italian guys there, and the minority guys, the black guys, everybody hated him. Everybody had issues with him. So that's how my time started. And then, so today's the anniversary. We can get into the details of my incarceration if you choose to. And
I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, today's the day that the only good thing Cicali ever did, Dominic Cicali, who you had on your show, but today's the day that he took out Pizzola and sent him to Mafia heaven.
Yep. When I did speak with Dominic Cicali, and I know you spoke to him not that long ago, he was the one that facilitated that, right? He carried that out. Did you know anything about that at the time? Did you know that this was going down?
No, I didn't know anything about it at the time. Although when I got out, I put a beef in with Jackie Nose, who defended him, and John Jr., who just laughed in my face. But he knew what was going on because Mrs. G knew what was going on. So, and Pete knew what was going on. But I guess that envelope of $500 that Jackie was getting was meant a lot to Jackie. So
he was kicking up to Jackie?
Yeah, he was kicking up to Jackie. His uncle owned an auto body shop in Queens. So Pizzola's uncle. And Pizzola, you used to hear him on the phone screaming to his uncle, "I can't take it here. I get no respect anymore since this Jew bastard came here. Nobody pays attention to me. Nobody knows me." He was standing in the broom closet screaming at his uncle. Yeah.
Well, how come he was kicking up to Jackie Nose if he was affiliated and associated with the Bonanno family?
Well, his uncle was around the Gambino family.
Okay.
And Pizzola was around the Bonanno family. But Pizzola always wanted to be with the Gambinos. And Pizzola would be with anybody that would take him. He wanted Quiet Dom had him around him. Quiet Dom chased him from the Genovese. And he just went from family to family. And Cicali, of course, he was around Cicali and that family. Then what happened was, I guess Cicali's boss just couldn't take it anymore. And Cicali was directed to, from what I understand, to take out Pizzola. But it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. So yeah, he was a bad kid, and now he's I don't even think he made it to Mafia heaven. I think they chased him out of Mafia heaven. He's probably he's probably where the scumbags go, and so that's where he is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I do want to ask you about your time in Lewisburg, because as we've discussed before, you're not a street guy, you're not a made guy or anything like that, but you are close with the boss of the Gambino family. So I'm sure that does work for you. You're not an Italian guy, you're not a made guy, like I said, but you are close with John. So does that have a big impact on your time that you're doing?
100%. Everybody all over had the utmost of respect for John J. And for that matter, even for John A. at that point. So Yeah, I mean, I was royalty when I was in the Lewisburg camp, and like I said, not only by that whole compound in the camp, but also by the administration of the Bureau of Prisons, meaning that warden. As a matter of fact, that warden, what really a good guy. This was a good warden, not like that other warden we had for junior, our concierge, for senior, our concierge warden.
Right.
But they were rebuilding the warden's home. And the warden sent for me and said, "Listen, Lewis, you're gonna do this for me, and your 7 months is gonna fly by." He says, "I'm gonna give you the key to my car," and it was a white marked BLP car, lights and a siren on. He says, "And every day, what I want you to do is get in my car. The key will be under the mat. You go up to my house and supervise the construction, the renovation of my home," which was owned by the government. And this was the warden's premises. Beautiful home, an old Tudor style home. And his wife lived there and his daughter lived there. He says, "And that's all you have to do. Just go there." He says, "I just keep an eye on the people that are working there. Keep an eye on my wife and daughter. Make sure nobody gets funny. Nobody gets cute. I'm going to give you a gate pass. I'm going to leave $10 on my seat. Go get pizza. Go get Dunkin' Donuts. And just take care of my wife and daughter. Make sure that the house everything is going good. You have my car. It'll be gassed up. You could go off the property, get pizza, get whatever you want, and that's it." So that's what I did for 4 months. I had the warden's car. I took care of the warden's house, took care of his daughter. And it so happens at night, the warden used to light up his grill, and he'd make steaks, burgers, hot dogs, Hebrew National hot dogs, I might add. And yeah, that's how I did my time. And then for the last 2 months, the warden said to me, "Listen, you can keep with your gate pass. You can have chow early." He says, because after the 4 months, his house was done. You could have chow early. He said, "My wife still wants to cook for you." So I said, "Nah, it's all good. Thank you, warden." And but you could have early chow, which I never did. But once in a while I go in because we had fresh vegetables and fresh fruit at the Lewisburg camp. So I would go and load up. And then on Sundays we had linguine and clam sauce, fresh pasta, fresh linguine and clam sauce. And he says that the guy who's head of the camp assigned you to an outside job. If you want it, keep it. If you don't want it, I'll make you a unit orderly. So I says, "No, I'm good with that, warden." So I was in charge of decorating the front of the penitentiary. But I had all my Spanish guys and all my Italian guys. They used to fix it all up for me, so I never had to do any heavy lifting. So at the end of the day, when all that was done, he said to me, he says, "Do one thing for me, Lewis." This is the warden. I said, "What's that, warden?" He says, "We're getting a visit from Jamie Gorlick, who was then number 2 in the DOJ. He says, just make sure the place looks nice in the front." So I says, "No problem, warden. Done." He says, "And then after she leaves, I'm going to make you a unit orderly for the last 60 days of your time. And that's how you'll finish out your time as a unit orderly." I said, "No problem." And so that's how I finished out my time. Pizzola was on suicide watch because he was, everybody treated him like a dog and like a piece of shit that he was.
Yeah.
And that's how I finished out my time. In fact, and the day that I was released, there were 400 people on the compound at the time, which was a lot for that compound. And about 250 of them lined the compound and lined the control room when I was leaving. Because I left my locker open. Nobody wanted for anything. Any commissary that I had, everybody had. You didn't have to be white. You didn't have to be Italian. Anybody.
Yeah.
All my Spanish guys, all my black guys, everybody lived like kings when I was in Lewisburg camp. Everybody. Not a problem for anybody. And guys were crying when I left. Crying. And yeah, so that's how it went. And until the warden died, I used to hear from the warden. In fact, when he was in New York, the warden and Lieutenant LaRue, I hooked them up at the Helmsley Palace. I got them passes to various shows that they wanted to go to, the Nutcracker Suite, and compliments of the boss.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that's how my time was, with the exception of Pizzola, who was just a miserable piece of shit. But
Right.
other than that, everybody treated the boss and the boss's guy with the utmost of respect on every level.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Jesse, from American Made?
It does. But I got a couple other things I want to get to. We've got about 200 people in the chat. I just wanted to mention that and remind everyone to hit that like button. I saw this comment I wanted to put up about Randy Pizzolo, and I wanted to ask you about it. Lewis, hey, I read somewhere that you had Randy Pizzolo beat or slapped. I don't remember which. Is that true?
It's not true. Although Randy went to the FBI and tried to file a criminal complaint against me. Other inmates there, unbeknownst to me, assaulted Pizzola. I believe broke his arm, peed in his bed, crapped in his bed, broke his nose. I don't know if any of that's true because I was gone by then. But when I was there, they did pee in his bed and crap in his bed. But what took place afterwards, I obviously had no control over, nor would I orchestrate such a thing as that. But I understand that he was assaulted and taken out by ambulance. And then he went to the FBI and filed complaints with the Federal Bureau of Prisons that he was assaulted, and I orchestrated it. All of it not true. But I guess, that's what he believed. I guess, when you have a guilty conscience, and you did bad things to people, when something bad happens to you, you accuse others.
Right.
And he also told Jackie knows that. He told Quiet Dom that. He told Sakali that. Anybody that would listen, he told. But anyway, I don't believe anybody listened to him. Although Junior had a smirk on his face when he heard about it.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, they didn't believe him because nobody ever approached you about that.
But the government did question me about that. They did question me about that. Jackie knows questioned me about that.
Oh.
Yeah, So, but when I went to Junior and put a beef in, Junior took no action. He just put that cute little smirk on his face.
Yeah.
If I had to rely on Junior to take care of me, I guess I would have been in trouble in jail. But his father took care of me in jail.
Right. Well, I want to get into that, Lewis. You've touched on this before, and that's why I wanted to bring up your incarceration, because you've mentioned this before, that it was the Lucchese family that were checking on your family, checking on your kids, seeing if is the roof leaking, what's going on, and not the Gambino family, or more importantly, the Gotti family. Why was that it was the Lucchese family?
Yeah. Isn't that amazing, Jesse? That Chubby Albert Guarino, a Lucchese associate, close to Phil Basile. Phil Basile, a Lucchese associate around Paul Vario. Phil Basile's son, who was my dear friend Frankie Basile, they were checking on my wife weekly, telephonically and in person. Not John Jr., who was on the street, not my sister Angel, who was on the street, not my sister Vicky, who was on the street. The Lucchese family was looking out for Louis Kasman. Yeah. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. And my blood boils when I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems as close as you were at that time with the Gambinos and, more importantly, the Gottis. You would think that would be Junior checking on your family. And
yeah, that was Junior's responsibility, but he didn't do shit. He didn't lift a finger for my family. They didn't need anything, thank God, because the boss looked out for my family. Telephonically, weekly, he would call my wife. Okay? A man that was locked up in a door cage was worried about my family, not his son and not his daughters, but Mrs. Gotti and John Sr. were looking out for my family. That's correct. John Jr. was busy running around grabbing the envelopes. Not, hey, listen, maybe I should check on my brother's family. No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't. He was busy doing other things. Yeah. And where was Angel? Maybe she was making up her podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why I wanted to ask you. I just thought that was odd, that. So how? Go
wasn't,
ahead.
Jess, it wasn't odd. It was repugnant. It was disgusting that the people in the Lucchese family, Chubby, Phil, and others, had to check on my family. But not the game. Where was my Uncle Pete? Well, he was busy with Marjorie Alexander playing tennis and bowling.
Yeah.
Instead of checking on my wife and 3 kids.
Yeah.
That's where Uncle Pete was. Uncle Pete was in the muff.
Uncle Pete's in the muff.
Uncle Pete was in the muff. Sad commentary, Jesse. Sad commentary. And Junior was just robbing and raping whoever he could. Another sad commentary. And Angel and Vicky, they were playing boss and underboss. Sad. Well, very sad.
Yeah. Well, once you're eventually released, how is it? How was your relationship with Junior at that time? I mean, is there anything ever said about, hey, couldn't you swing by and check on the family, or did things just continue as usual?
Yeah, I said that to Junior in private. I says, what's up with that? When I was in jail, his birthday falls on Valentine's Day. And I made sure my wife sent him a birthday card. Okay? He didn't do shit for me and my family. But he didn't do shit for his own sisters. He didn't do nothing for Angel, let us croak. He didn't do nothing for Vicky, let her starve. That's who Junior was. Me. Greed. That's who he was. And his father knew that because his father said, he don't take after me. I don't know who he takes after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well,
and it's like it was yesterday. It's like I can think about it now, and it was yesterday that he did these things.
Well, everyone knows, your relationship with John Sr., but now all these years later, looking back, do you think that maybe you felt more for the family than the family felt for you? Do you think that was going on?
100%. Every one of them, except for Peter, were jealous of the ground I walked on and jealous of the air I breathed, but not Peter. Peter loved me to death. I loved him to death. He was totally devoted and committed to his father unconditionally. See, Junior was committed and devoted conditionally. It's called transactional. You feel me, Jesse? Transactional. Same like Vicky. Transactional. Growing up Gotti. A disgrace. She didn't need the money. Her father was taking care of her. Carmen Agnello was taking care of her. She raised 3 beautiful boys. Carmine, Johnny, and Frankie. All good kids. All great kids. What the hell was she doing with growing up Gotti? It wasn't growing up Gotti. It was growing up Vicky. Loved the publicity. Loved the notoriety. Loved all that shit. Angel was the stepdaughter. But John loved her to death. Angel never asked for nothing. Angel never wanted for nothing. Whatever Angel got, her father wanted her to get. Her father wanted her to get more. But Junior was running that back then. And he just couldn't gobble up enough money. Just had to suck that money in, and fuck everybody along the way. Me. That was John Jr.'s name. Me. In fact, that's what we used to call him. When I used to talk to his father used to refer to him as Me. Yeah, that was his code name. Me. So, listen, I loved Junior to death back then. I don't know where I went wrong. a smart guy like I was, I don't know. He didn't fool me because I think deep down I knew. But listen, he screwed everybody, screwed his father, screwed me, screwed his mother, screwed his sisters. He didn't leave anybody out along the way. And when I got out, I told him what's up, and I told him how I felt about him. And not that he cared. He was just interested. He was curious as to what and if I had of his father's. That was on his mind. What does this Jew bastard have of my father's? And I guess he still wonders what I had of his father. Because whatever I had, he never got.
Right.
So I'm not saying I had anything of his father's, but whatever he thought I had, he never got. Nor did Pete, and nor did Pee-Pee Brain, also known as Richie Gotti.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there was I've read different articles and stuff where there was speculation that, you had John's money or this or that, but it's never been substantiated,
Never been. Well, that 11 million, 12 million, 20 million, never been substantiated. And it'll never be substantiated. And like I said, I'm not saying I had or I have or he gave me that. These are just all rumors, all speculation.
Yeah.
But he was a good man. He was good to me. He loved me. I loved him. And he provided for his family. He provided for Angel. He provided for Vicky. Whether they got it or not, I can't speak to that because it's a long time. But there was enough there for Angel, for Vicky, for Vicky's kids, for John's kids, for everybody. There was enough to go around and enough for Mrs. G to live till she's not here and enough for Peter. So if Peter's struggling, he shouldn't be struggling. And I hope and pray he's not struggling because the boss left enough for all of his offspring. Peter, Vicky, Angel. Did I leave anybody out that was still amongst the living? And his grandchildren, and for his son, Junior. There was enough to go around. And for me, although Junior never gave me a fucking dime, he just took from me. Took and took and took. He would take the gold from my teeth. But I never had gold in my mouth. I only had platinum in my mouth.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know, Jesse. It wasn't supposed to be this way. That's all I could tell you. Wasn't supposed to be this way.
Yeah. Well, I want to fast forward a little bit to 2007. You get charged with obstruction of justice, wire fraud, and racketeering conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
You sent me some documents, and I'm going to pull those up here in just a second. But I thought they were interesting. I wanted to, have you comment on them because I thought there were some interesting parts in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first page.
Yeah, that shows what the government charged me with: obstruction, false statements, wire fraud, and RICO, racketeering.
Racketeering conspircy.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And like I
and
said,
Jesse, you know how serious RICO is. You know, when they throw RICO in, they want you. Okay, they didn't throw RICO in on the NBA case. Isn't it funny? But they threw it in on me, but they didn't throw it in on that RICO case with Angelo, on that non-RICO case with Quack Quack's son. And I'm glad he wasn't charged with that. So what's this here, Jess? What happened, Jess? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you kind of skipped out on us there for a second. But this is the second page. And I just wanted you to clarify, this is the government wrote this letter to Judge Garifas. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's my 5K1 letter where the government tells the judge he could downwardly depart because the probation report called for 200 months of confinement.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
now what I
probation
wanna
report called for 200 months. That's more than Junior got when he was doing time in Raybrook.
yeah. Let me go
How
to
much time is
this.
that? 200 months.
16 and a half years.
I think it's about
16
16, 17 years.
Yeah, 16 years. Junior got only 8 years in Raybrook.
This is the third page of that document, and it's it says 2005 through 2007. In 2005, the defendant began debriefing with the government, and at the direction began meeting with and
That's when I began meeting with
consensus high-ranking members of the Gambino family, incarcerated boss Pete Gotti, acting boss consigliere Joseph Carrazzo. He agreed to cooperate with the government prosecution agreement in which he was given it's cut off there, but crimes he had disclosed at that date. But this talks about 2005 through 07. What is that referring to?
That's when I became a confidential informant for the government in 2005. Began in 2005, contrary to what others want to throw at me, Angel, and ended in 2007. And I did wear a wire, and I began cooperating, and they sent me into those pictures that I sent you of me and Uncle Pete. I was wired. I went in, I visited him and made recordings. My belt was wired, my watch was wired, my shoes were wired. And that's how I recorded Pete while he was incarcerated in 2005. And then I met with Joseph Carrazzo on numerous occasions, and I recorded him, who was then the consigliere of the Gambino organized crime family, at the direction of the FBI. That's correct. It's in my 5K1 level. Emphasis on the dates, 5 through 7.
Yeah, that's why, you've sent me many different documents, and, just you send me things, I read through them, but I saw this one and wanted to ask you about those dates because, people speculate all different dates, and, so I wanted to bring this up, 2005.
Correct. That debunks, and these documents are official court documents, that debunks what she says, that I was cooperating while her father was alive. Never. You hear that, Peter? Don't listen to what Angel tells you. She's a liar. Okay? They just want to dirty me up. While that man was alive, I gave them nothing. Zero. I gave that man dignity. He died with dignity, and I delivered his eulogy with dignity, and that's what he wanted, because he loved me to death, and I loved him to death. And these documents prove it. I'm not shying away that I recorded Pete. I did record Pete while he was in jail. I went into jail, wired to the hilt. Okay. I recorded Carrazzo. Yes, I did, Jojo. I did record him. And I recorded other members of the Gambino family, Danny Marino, Carrazzo, an associate of the Gambino family, Emil, who was around Joseph, Jojo. Never recorded Joseph, the lawyer, refused. They wanted me to. I refused to go against Joseph because he was so loyal to the boss. Joseph Carrazzo, the attorney, was devoted and loyal to Gambino boss John J. Gotti till the day he died. That's right. So eat your heart out, all you haters out there. Joseph Carrazzo, the consigliere, and the lawyer were loyal to John Gotti. And John A. Gotti hated Jojo Carrazzo and hated Joseph Carrazzo, the lawyer. Yeah, that's right. Hated him. He used to tell me, don't let him go see my father. And I did not listen to him because Joseph went to see John up until he died on the worst days when this man needed a visit, okay, because he could get in. And Peter, like I said, was living out there in Springfield. So, yeah, that's all. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
However, that be said, let me tell you something, Jesse, what no one knows. The government sent me in, not wired, to visit with John A. Gotti, and I wouldn't allow myself to be wired. However, they told me where to sit in the visiting room in Raybrook because that visiting room, certain seats were wired. And when I got there, the cop said to me, oh, you sit over here. And I didn't sit there. Okay? I didn't sit there because I knew they wanted to hurt Junior. I wouldn't sit there.
What was important about this particular spot that they wanted you to sit in?
Because certain seats and the wall of that particular visiting room in Raybrook was wired by the FBI. And when the FBI has a wire, they have to be present because they have to control that wire. And the FBI, Bill Johnson and Robert Herbster, they were in the BOP control room, unbeknownst to me, but I learned that after. Special Agent Bill William Johnson, who was my handler, a real scumbag of the first order, not Herbster. Rob Herbster was decent, but Bill Johnson, a real piece of shit. He was doing anything to convict. Him and Ted Otto were doing anything to convict John Angelo Gotti, John A. Gotti. They were doing anything, Otto and Johnson, doing anything.
Right.
But there were some good agents, decent agents. I wouldn't say good, decent. Herbster, decent, good. Mario Russo, good, very good, excellent. Special Agent Bernardo. Now, Bernardo and Russo were both speakers, what they call speakers. They could speak fluent Italian. And Russo, excellent. Bernardo, excellent. And Bernardo lived close to where they had me in protective custody. They never had me in protective custody. That's all bullshit. That's a myth. And I'm sweating a little bit now because my blood pressure is going up. And Bernardo, he made every effort he was good to me. Mario Russo, good to me. Herbster, good to me. Johnson, a son of a bitch, a liar, a fraud. And ultimately, he was taken off my case. Okay? He was removed from my case because I put a beef in against him because that's how bad he was. I called Washington. I called the assistant director of the FBI in Washington. I said, get this guy off my fucking case or I'm going public about what a piece of garbage he is. He wanted me suborn perjury, this Bill Johnson. So, and there was an Office of Professional Responsibility complaint filed against him in the FBI. And of course, it was denied because those complaints go nowhere. And Michael Gold, my rat lawyer at the time, he only represents rats. He represented me. He represented Anthony Reggiano, only represents rats. And he wrote a letter to the FBI and to the U.S. Attorney, which one day we'll go over it. In my 30 years of practicing law, I've never seen such reprehensible conduct, but that committed by Special Agent William Johnson of the FBI. And he came to my sentencing. He said to me, he says, I know you don't want me here. I says, no. And in front of Bruce Mao, I said to him, and Bruce Mao, shh. He says, I know you don't want me here. I said, I don't want you here. Get the fuck out of here. You're garbage, what you did, or what you and Otto try to do, but they couldn't succeed.
Mm.
But yeah, so excuse me a second, I dropped something. But yeah, they wanted me to sit in a special chair in Raybrook. And that's what went on in Raybrook.
So how does this translate into the Vincent Artuso case in Florida?
Because when I was cooperating, Artuso was rude, disrespectful, and trying to extort me. And I recorded him. And he was just a lowlife. They used to call his nickname was Vinny Dirtbag. Isn't that funny how that was his nickname and how it fit him so appropriately? Vinny Dirtbag Artuso. He was the guy that was on the Castellano hit that told John his gun jammed. And he professed to love John. I says, if you love John, why do you come to my restaurant and don't pay the bill? So I recorded him. He offered me $100,000. He wanted to go in business with me. Yeah, I want to go in business with you. I want you to do for me what you did for John. I said, you'll never go into business with me, and I'll never do for you what I did for John. And I went to Arnold Squateri, and I told Tony McGalley, and I told Danny Marino what this guy was doing. And he was put into check and brought to New York. And Arnold Squateri put his foot up his ass. Yeah. And Tony McGalley did the same. So me and him were done. And whatever he owed me in Campagnola in Florida, he had to pay me. So that's how I know Arnold and Tony told him what's up. Yeah. And we were done. And I did testify against him. Truthfully, I didn't go out of my way to hurt him. They played the tapes. I corroborated the tapes and I testified. The only person I testified against. And it was with pleasure. It was with pleasure.
When you went to Arnold, is that when he was the acting boss at the time?
That's correct.
Gotcha. Well, Lewis, we've been going about 52 minutes. Let's jump over here to the comments and see if there's any good questions. We've got about 220 people that are watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. G. Shippy says, Lewis, who picked you up from Lewisburg when you were released?
My uncle, Joseph Rogovin, picked me up. Not my father-in-law, my uncle. Joe Rogovin, who just recently died. He should rest in peace. A good man. A good man, Joe Rogovin. I should have taken his advice. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lewis. You should have taken his advice.
I should have taken his advice on a couple of matters, but he was a good man. He picked me, and he came to visit me every weekend. I used to tell him, don't come. Snowstorms, rainstorms, hailstorms. There was Joe Rogovin visiting me. Yep, every weekend. Uncle Joe.
Did you have any type of party or anything once you got back out?
No party. Came home, my kids, this and that.
Tin Pill says, Lewis, did you ever do business or meet Billy Dogs Iannuzzi?
No, not to my knowledge, Tin Pill.
Lewis, what was your relationship with John Sr., outside kid with Neil's stepdaughter?
No relationship. None at all.
Shay says, whatever happened to Gary Cooper, the strong, silent type? Jackie Nose says he's responding to somebody. I think when the Gottis turned on him and threatened him. I think he's responding to somebody. Let's see. Trent says, "Hey, Jesse. Hi, Lewis. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and an upcoming holiday season."
Yeah,
Thank you for that,
thank
Trent.
you. Boy, the haters are out tonight. Glad you're here. Glad you're in the
Yeah,
chat.
I threw that comment up a minute ago. I think
Yeah,
Steve or somebody wrote that a lot of haters in the chat.
yeah. I love it because it's it just goes to show you that people people are listening and people know the truth. That brings the haters out.
That's right. Pinty Studios Live says, "Why would the FBI want tapes of Mrs. Gotti? Made no sense for him to record her."
Okay, let's clear that up for the fifth time. The FBI did not want tapes of Mrs. Gotti. The FBI never sent me in to record Mrs. Gotti. I never went deliberately to record Mrs. Gotti, nor would I. It so happens I was going to record my brother, John A. Okay, but she happened to be there. The FBI had bad intel. And I stayed a minute, 2 or 3, and excused myself. So that was not premeditated by the government or by me. So let's get that straight once and for all. Done. What else, Jess?
Yeah, I think Pinty Studios was agreeing with your position there that it makes no sense for you to set out to record her.
Hey, go ahead.
Rip says, "I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. If these people didn't mess with you, why do you continue to call these people your family?"
Because at that time of my life, they were my family. That's why. They're not my family anymore, although I miss Peter. John's wish was, Lewis, keep Peter with you. Open a business, whatever. There's enough. Just make sure you look out for Peter. I hope his brother is looking out for his brother. Instead of looking out for Big Steve and this guy and that guy and everybody else. You look out for your brother, Peter. That's what your father wanted, not Big Steve. And not all these other people that are hanging on to you. If you were broke, believe me, they wouldn't be hanging on to you. Make sure you're taking care of Peter and his kids.
Yeah. Trent says, "Lucchese's probably wanted to keep tabs and look out for you because they knew you knew how to make money." Just a thought.
Yeah, that could be. But Phil Basile hated the Basiles. Phil Basile was being abused by the Lucchese family. So, Phil Basile and I were friends. End of story. He hated the Luccheses, and they hated him because once Vario died, they just wanted to rob him.
William says, "Lewis, did the chief respect Joe Caridi?"
I don't think he knew much about Joe Caridi back then. Joe Caridi was a nobody when John was on the streets.
Let's see what we got.
Yo, Tin Pail, I love you. I love you, buddy. You're great. You got the electric on tonight? Put that generator on. What's your Cash App? Let me send you $18. You can split it with JJ.
Shay says he just makes a comment. "Tommy Gambino was the most successful gangster. Did 5 years and died at the ripe old age of 94.
100%. 100%.
Frank the Fork says, "Tommy was a businessman, not a gangster."
He was both, but he was good at both.
Yeah.
We got, just so you know, Angel's in the chat. Well-known local 2590. That's Angel. Jess, I invited Angel on. I said, Angel, come on the show under your real name, with no avatar, with your beautiful face, with your lipstick on, and the cat's in the background, and the cat food. Jesse will drop you the link. So I invited her on, but she has to come on legit.
Yeah, I mean, I would do that. You know, we would be respectful and. Let me know if you see any good comments or questions.
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, with this Tom Lavecchio, you know, when I did that thing with the 52, this Tom Lavecchio is just a pawn for, I want to say probably for the Gottis or for whoever. He was slurring his words. He was a bit, I don't know if he was drunk or whatever he was, but yeah, he's just a mook. He's a mook.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Lewis. I know you did a show on the channel you just mentioned. I can't remember the name, but
Yeah.
This Tom Lavecchia, who has a channel as well, he came in there and somewhat debated you or something. You had we're going back and forth. What was that all about?
Yeah, well, he tried to debate me, but I ripped him up. I think his friend there, Brett, the co-host there, was trying to set me up. But it was good. You know, listen, I went up against an attorney general. I went up against Larry King, Barbara Walters, Dan. I went up against all of them. You think a guy, a bum like Tom Lavecchio is going to get to me? See, when you speak the truth, nobody could get to you, Jesse. When you're a liar and a fraud, you got to remember the lies you tell. So it was my pleasure. And I challenged Lavecchio. I says, come back on live. I'll do a live with you any day. Bring your friend Brett. Bring whoever you want to bring. Never heard from him.
Well, what was he challenging you on?
Well, everything I said to him, he would ask me a question. I would respond to his question.
Yeah,
and
man,
if he didn't like my answer, don't even waste your time. If he didn't like the answer, he said, "I'm not." It wasn't good enough for him. Yeah, they were loaded, and I unloaded him, and and that was it. And he ran away with his tail between his legs. Him and his friend there, Brett.
Yeah, you got to be careful, man. People will try to get you into a corner.
Yeah, they can't corner me.
Detroit Ziggy says, Lewis, John Gotti ruined the long relationship between the Lucchese and Gambino families.
Siggy, there was never really a relationship. It was all fake. All these relationships between the families, it's all about the money. They all hate each other. They all talk about each other. It's all about the money. Who's more powerful? Who's this and who's that? That's all it is. Yeah. No loyalty amongst thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Shippy. American made only, 100%.
I try to tell him.
With Jesse and the crew.
Rip says, I feel like what Junior did was effed up, especially since you did do so much for John Gotti Sr.
Yeah, thank you, Rip. I guess it's you can attribute that to jealousy.
Livet says, you said it right there, Lewis. Senior loved you. That's why they all hated you.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, I delivered the eulogy. Nobody else. Me. That speaks volumes. I rest my case. All you haters, go home, put your tail between your legs, like and subscribe. And if you want, give a couple of bucks to the channel because Jesse's going to donate it to the disabled veterans anyway. We don't need your money. We're not like other people, subscribe, donate, Cash App, Venmo, this app. We don't need your money. But you can like and subscribe. That would be nice.
Yeah, do that. That doesn't cost you anything. Hit that like button. When it comes to the money, Tin Pail TV says, Lewis, it will never be substantiated because you were keeping John Sr.'s books.
No, that's your opinion. What do you know, Tin Pail? Tell me what you know, except what others put in your plate. What do you know, Tin Pail? You don't know shit. Talk about a wannabe. You're a wannabe, Tin Pail. But I like you, Tin Pail. I'm glad you're here. I enjoy it. What's your Cash App, bro? Christmas is coming. I'll send you a couple of bucks. Jesse and I will send you a couple of bucks. Tin Pail. If you need anything, you and JJ, we'll send you a couple of bucks. Just let us know. We're generous. We got no problem.
Alpha Rag 8198 says, you were John Gotti's right-hand man, Lewis. Of course, you were going to get Rico.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Randy Pizzola never slapped me. He wanted to, but he never did. Never did. I never knew Kenny Shapiro from Philly, Jeff Davis.
Catco Watch 1 says, two totally different human beings, John Sr. and John Jr., and the mistake of thinking John Jr. could fill the big chair. You should never defend the special relationship you had with John Sr.
Thank you for that comment. God bless you. I appreciate that. Here, Danny asks a question that he finds Scars to be knowledgeable, the most knowledgeable when it comes to Gambino history. Would you concur? Well, I'm going to concur with this caveat. He can be very knowledgeable when it suits him, but he tends to put a spin on it. He can be very knowledgeable. He's a smart guy. If he would only just tell it like it is, don't taint it, don't polish the apple, just tell it like it is. But yes, he is knowledgeable. Not the most knowledgeable, though, but he is knowledgeable when he doesn't spin it.
Damn Funk says, Senior's rolling over in his grave. You disgrace John Gotti's name.
No. His son disgraced the name. And others disgraced his name.
I think if you did, Lewis, so did many others.
Exactly. Get in line.
Yeah.
I believe, and some people will say I'm just justifying it, I believe I did the best I could do under the circumstances, because like I always say, there's nothing worse than et tu brute by his son, by Junior.
Detroit Ziggy says, Vincent the Chin dies. His two sons are closest to him next to Mario, his brother. Today, Andrew Gigante and Vincent Esposito are essentially number one and number two. Everyone else you hear about is a lightning rod.
100%. Goes to show you. Oh, this guy, Doug Cross, $3 super sticker. Yeah, that's nice of you. Oh, Frank Castiglia is here. Thank you, Frankie boy. Thank you. Thank you.
Steve says, a lot of haters tonight, Jesse and Lewis.
Bring it on. The more, the better.
We're glad to have them. They love Lewis too.
Yeah, and I love them back. So, Jess, you don't see us with wrenches. You don't see moderators. You don't see it. We don't. Who cares? Who cares? People that have moderators and 22 wrenches and this and that. Who needs all that crap? For what reason?
You're right. Frank the Fork says, Lewis has 100,000 hits on his Facebook page in just a week. Do you want to tell people about your Facebook, Lewis?
Yeah. My long lost relative came into the picture and did this page for me called Lewis Kasman Fans, the adopted son. And he's just killing it. I want to give a shout out to Dylan Kasman. He's just doing a great job. I think he's my son from another mother. I don't know. I got to check on that. But yeah, this kid's killing it. He's fucking crazy. He's a lunatic. And he's doing a great job for me. And you got to love him. So yeah, 100,000 hits, Jesse. I mean, you know better than me. Is that a lot, Jesse?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think.
You didn't go to sleep on me, did
100,000?
you, bro?
No, you're skipping out on me. We
Oh,
got to
okay.
check that. We got to check that internet service.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think it's some of the haters are trying to. They're putting the we gotta, you know, they're probably putting the evil eye on us, Jess.
Maybe.
Because you know,
I think you called this
American
out a
made
second ago.
Yeah,
Doug
American
Ross
made
with the
just
super sticker. Go ahead, Lewis.
killing it in this killing it in this genre. What, Jesse? Could you hold on a second, Jess?
Yeah.
RJ, bring in the tea, please. RJ, bring in my tea. All right. RJ's bringing in the tea. You want a cup of tea, Jess? Yeah, I got the tea coming. RJ, come on in, brother.
You're crazy, man.
Yeah, Trent said, Lewis, did RJ make you a tea for you tonight? Yeah, he just made it. RJ's bringing in the tea. And yeah.
Was there anything about Senior that you didn't like a pet peeve, perhaps?
You know, one thing he used to do, and it was like a scary thing. If someone got to his ear and the next day, you know, he would regurgitate or we would talk about it. And I knew I'm not going to make a specific topic about it. So, you know, Tin Pail, don't get crazy. Yeah, but if someone would pee in his ear in a negative way or lie to him, and either myself or Junior didn't get there first in the morning, yeah, his balls were twisted. So we made sure that never happened again. But yeah, he had that little bit of a thing going, but it was all right. You know. Yeah, this live at 1001 donated to the channel $19.99. So got to recognize that.
Yeah,
that's
I'm trying
nice.
to see where that's at.
Yeah, thank you. That's very nice of you. We'll give that over where it's got to go.
Good show and anything for the vets. Yeah, we appreciate that. 1999.
Yeah, 1999. Yeah, Harry, good looking out. Tin Pail, I doubt it. Yeah.
Tea with lemon, Lewis.
Yeah, RJ knows how to make the tea. Yeah.
Watch with Gotti Jr. selling weed with his dad on the back.
Tea.
What are you whispering about over there, Lewis?
No, I was looking at this thing on this website. I see Junior or Angel trying to sell tea bags called Blue Tea by Gotti. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll have to check on that.
Detroit Ziggy says, Lewis, if Carlo picked Tommy Gambino, the next boss, does Gotti whack him under the same circumstances?
No, Carlo would have never picked Tommy Gambino. So that's a moot point. Yeah, DCAS says, what's up with Junior selling weed? I think it was A-Light selling the weed under Junior's umbrella and giving Junior the envelopes.
Harry Valentini with $4.99. Great show again for the vets. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Did you see this here? Harry says 100,000 clicks is more than RJ and Scars get on their videos. Damn. And that was in a week, Jesse.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, you know, but you're talking two different platforms, so I don't know how, you know, what the difference, and you know, YouTube calculates views and clicks differently than Facebook does. I don't know how it translates, but no, either way, I mean, that's good.
Yeah. Mohegan, you always come up with good stuff, man. I appreciate you. Tin Pail, we like him, but he's only doing he does other people's bidding in the platform, which is fine. We enjoy it. Jesse and I love it. So, hey, Jess, I want to give a couple of shout outs.
Go ahead, man.
I want to give a shout out to Dylan. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Frankie over at the place there, over at the parlor. Big Matt in Belmore. What's up, Big Matt? And of course, always looking out for Phil Baroni, who's doing a life sentence in a Mexican jail without a trial, without anything. So any of you people on here, if you know Phil from his fighting days, he's doing okay, but we got him a lawyer, and he's doing the best he can. And who else? Give a shout out to Paulie Walnuts. Give a shout out to Aunt Sharon, who's recuperating. She fell on her head, was in a car accident, but she's doing better now. I don't know. If I missed anybody, it's not on purpose. I apologize. I'll get you the next time. But, love all you people that support us and text and email me and stuff. I really do appreciate it.
Definitely.
And I appreciate Jesse from American Made for giving me this platform. And you're a good man, Jesse. You do a good job. You're professional. And, you keep me grounded. Whenever I go left or I go right, you bring me right back to the middle. And I do appreciate
I
that.
appreciate you, Lewis. I appreciate you coming on here with me, man. I think you and I do it better than anyone. And, I think it's onward and upward. You know what I mean? I think there's, a lot of potential, you and I doing these lives together. I think people enjoy them. So, yeah, I appreciate you doing it with me.
Yeah.
We've been going, Lewis, almost an hour and 20 minutes. You see any more questions or anything? Joey Nish says, my friend grew up in Howard Beach area. He said Junior was a bully and A-Light was the real tough guy.
Well, Junior was a bully, and Junior was always a bully. He's still a bully, but Junior was a tough kid. No question about it. Junior's a tough guy. A-Light was a tough guy too, but A-Light was also a bully. But A-Light did, like I always said, A-Light did a lot of stuff, a lot of business, a lot of things for Junior. But don't ever say it. Junior was a tough guy. Junior was a tough guy. That's all I could say.
You see anything else you want to get to, Lewis?
I think we hit everybody. I don't know if we, like I said, if we, oh, Lewis. I'm a Yankee fan. And John was a Yankee fan. Tony Gruesome, I did cross paths with John Caniglia and Charles Caniglia. John Caniglia, very, very, very tough guy. And Charlie Canig was a madman, a sociopath. Good night, Frank Castiglia. Good night, my man. Sleep tight, whoever you are. All right, Jess.
You ready to wrap it up, Lewis?
Yeah, you good?
I think we're good, man. I don't see any more questions or anything.
Okay. So
I think
I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I think we'll leave it there, man. And I appreciate you as well doing this with me again.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Lewis. Sounds good.
Okay. God bless.
God bless, man. All right, guys. Thank all of you for watching, for writing questions. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.